Hello and welcome to Sales Navigator with Stan and Bryn. We are so excited. Each week, we will discuss Sales Navigator strategies and tactics to help you and your sales team optimize your Sales Navigator investment. Hi, Stan. I'm so excited for our live debut.
Yes, that makes two of us, Bryn. Great to be here. I'm looking forward to it. We had a great response, so it seems like everyone is interested in what's happening with Sales Navigator because it keeps changing on us.
It does, but I have to tell you, it is a powerful tool that we think all sales professionals, especially in B2B, should be using. We're going to talk about a lot today, but what's the overall topic?
The overall topic is 7 powerful Sales Navigator features for business-to-business sales success. Now, there are a lot more than 7, but we're going to start with 7 because we have a limited amount of time.
Awesome. I love that. So, ultimately, Sales Navigator is this tool that sits on top of LinkedIn data, right? It's very different experience when you're in Sales Navigator, right? So the first one that we're going to talk about of the 7 is Sales Navigator user interface. Why don't you start us off with that and talk a little bit about that?
As far as Sales Nav's user interface, it's specifically designed to help us keep focused on sales opportunities.
Mm.
We've all spent time on LinkedIn, and everyone knows how busy the news feed gets, and you see ads and this and that and the other. Sales Nav designed to help you stay keyed in on sales opportunities. So all of the activity on your homepage is driven by accounts that you've saved and set up, leads that you've saved, and then based on, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, how you're training the algorithm with your saved leads and accounts and your activity. Those are the things that drive what you see on your homepage. So there's no extraneous information to distract you.
Yeah, it's like 95% actionable. And I love that. And we're going to talk about that next. But in the Sales Navigator user interface, they are, as Stan mentioned, it is constantly being changed and updated. And as we coach people, we recognize people have actually very different experiences. I think I have some new features, but where I save searches is different than where some of our clients save searches, right? So really getting to know the interface is important, but we guarantee you it'll change soon. So here is really, as we get through this, I want you guys to think about the strategy versus the tactic. The tactical things and the areas to click are going to change, but we're going to talk about strategy that really doesn't change too much. So, Stan, let's start with alerts on this in strategy.
Yes. So one of the things you'll see toward the top of your homepage is the opportunity to click into alerts.
Mhm.
And as Bryn just mentioned, all of this is driven by Sales Navigator's desire to help us find opportunities for sales conversations, gather business intelligence that can help us have a more effective sales conversation, and expand relationships within the accounts that we're trying to get into. So alerts, like most things on Sales Nav, are divided into account alerts and lead alerts. And the nice thing is when you select, now the default is you're going to see all alerts.
Mhm.
But what we suggest is pick account alerts, click into the drop down, and you'll see the option to search by news related to accounts,
Mhm.
uh, growth, risk, a number of different filters that you can use to look at very specific information regarding accounts. The same is true for leads. Career changes, for example, is huge when we're talking
Mhm.
about people. when they're starting a new role.
Oh, I love this. So let's dive like one step deeper and let's talk about the strategy around this. So I'm going to start with the leads and we can move our way back to
To
accounts.
accounts.
But career changes, there are two opportunities that open up when you see someone moved. The first opportunity is their new account, right? So we could go in there, but we also know that someone else will be filling their shoes at the old account. So we want to pay attention to both. There are two opportunities with one career change, especially if it's a new company. So there's actually two types of career changes. There's if you are promoted or if you go to a new company. So the new company is where those two opportunities open up. Once you see that, here's the thing. These folks are getting hundreds and hundreds of congratulations right now.
Mm-hmm.
Often I say be patient. So one of the things that you can do in your alerts is you can bookmark it for later. So instead of reacting when 500 other people are reacting, consider coming back in a week when things are settled a little bit. Maybe they have a little more time to engage.
Yeah.
Recognize they've been given this new opportunity because changes probably need to be made inside of that new company. They were hired most likely to improve that company. So if what you do can help them improve faster, quicker, better, more efficiently, or bring a better product or service to the new company, there's a good chance that they're open to a conversation now versus someone that has been there 10 years is in really comfortable position, not really open to lots of new change. So the strategy behind that career change is really starting a conversation and becoming a resource for them as they navigate the new company that they're in. What's another alert that we can dive down in? Let's do one or two more in leads.
And leads as well. Career changes being the biggest one. A lead is mentioned in the news, for
Oh,
example.
so that's awesome. Now, there's a caveat to this because I burned myself. Lead mentioned in the news is not always good news,
Can you not?
right? And years ago, I remember going through and like when I was in my mass engagement, and I congratulate, right? So make sure you're reading what it is that they've done. And again, rather than just simply congratulating them, maybe go out and find an article that mentions this news or mentions or find the original article and send it back to them. Sometimes they don't even know that they were mentioned in the news right away. So, Stan, I don't know about you, but when I started in sales, I was in Philadelphia, but every city has like that. I was the Philadelphia Journal, right? All the happenings in Philadelphia. And so I would go through that. And when there was an article about a CEO, I'd cut it out, I'd fold it up, I'd put a post-it note with a congratulations and my business card, and I'd send it to them. Right. And that was my part of my prospecting. Well, we could do this digitally.
Exactly.
So
Just
I
with a
love
link.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely powerful. Let's do one more filter for leads in Sales Navigator. That's a really good one.
So if
Yeah.
they've engaged with your content,
Those are triggers actually, right? So
mm-hmm.
I'm going to do two there. I think that is huge, right? If they are engaging with your
Your
content,
content.
and I actually believe, I'm not 100% sure, so we need to check that if they engage with your company content, they're going to come up as well. But we'll double check on
Check
that.
on that.
But that's a trigger, right? That is a buying. I hate to use it a buying trigger. It is an engagement trigger.
Trigger.
Let's call it, because
Yeah.
it's really not a buying trigger, but it's an opportunity, as Stan was saying, to start these conversations. So it's huge. The other one, I just lead shares. This is the lowest hanging
Mhm.
fruit. What do you do with lead shares when they share content?
When they share content, you can help to amplify their content, which helps them because their content gets viewed by more people. You do want to go ahead and tag them when you share their content so that they get notified or additional notifications that you've taken the trouble
Yeah,
to read. And you notice I said read, so please read it. As Bren mentioned earlier, read it because it does make a difference
it
in
does.
terms of whether or not you want to share it. And so when you share it, it gets their message out to more people. And when you tag them, it also helps to raise your level of visibility with them.
Yeah, and you could tag their company and the other. I mean, there is some level of mentioning when you share their content, but as Stan says, if you're tagging them and you tag the content, there's a better chance that they're going to get it in their email too. There's no guarantees, but when you tag them there, it there's this algorithm play that we can never quite master, but we do know if you tag them again, it's better,
Exactly.
right? So I
Exactly.
think that that is awesome. When someone is engaging on the content you share, you matter to them.
Yes.
You really do. They're sharing this content to get engagement. And most people don't get a lot. So if you can do what Stan said is, really read it and comment smartly, you really are you're on their radar at a higher level of credibility than if you just sent them your stuff.
Mhm.
That said, one of the things I love, like if they had curated a piece of content, right? So they curated a piece of Stan Robinson content, and that's what they shared. And I thought it was an awesome piece of content. I'm going to go find another piece of content that Stan shared. So if they've curated content, and even if he or she, if they're not my connection, I can still see their activity. I can go to listennotes.com and see if they've been a podcast guest. I can Google, any blogs or articles that they've been in. And so now I can take this to the next level. And this is that starting conversations. And I might say, so we have Yvonne Ribeiro here. So I'll say, maybe Yvonne shares Stan's content. I go find another piece and I say, Yvonne, it looks like we're both big fans of Stan Robinson. Have you read this post or this ebook that he put out? Let me know if you're interested. I'm happy to send a link. And that could be a message or a connection request. And now we're starting a conversation around Stan, right? Like around an influencer. So and one of the things I love is when we save leads on Sales Navigator, they don't have to be first degree connections. So
Mhm.
you can start saving leads of influencers and engage through there as well.
Yes, well, exactly.
I know. I just talk and talk. I love this stuff
This is
so much. Anything else in alerts around accounts or anything before we move to the next one?
Yeah, I think the time is flying, so yeah, we should probably move to the next one. I did want to give a
Okay.
shout out to Judy because she was the first one in the room.
All right, let's do
Eh,
a little looking forward. Woohoo! Love you, Judy. Love you, Yvonne. We've got some wonderful people here today. Hi, Dan. And we're going
yes.
and
And Mike.
Mike. Yeah, we love Mike.
Yep, got old and new friends on the call. Thank
It's
you.
awesome. All right, so what's number two?
So we've got filters. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about the mini filters and
So
then the ability to save them.
yeah, tell me your top three. What are your favorite filters that it's not available in the free LinkedIn?
Who has basically posted in the last 30 days one of the spotlights?
Oh, so now's
Love
my
that.
spotlights moved. So this is one of the things that's interesting. It's been in spotlights forever. And a client I worked with today still has spotlights. For some of us, it's under best path in, I think.
Yeah, it does
Or
keep changing.
oh,
That's what we
recent
love.
updates. It's in recent updates. Post it on LinkedIn. So I don't have spotlights anymore, but I
More.
do have recent updates. So it's in one of these two places. But why do you love that so much? I love it too. What do you love about it?
Because it indicates, especially when you're doing a search and you've got 300 search results and the filters are all good, but you're trying to figure out, where do I start in terms of engaging with these people? Well, ideal people to start engaging with are people who are already active on LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
those who've posted in the past 30 days are by definition active on LinkedIn. So you're more likely to get a response. They're more likely to see your engagement. So that's why I love that filter.
I agree. It's a phenomenal filter. I'm gonna do a yes and. Not only do I use that filter, but I look in the list, and there are lots of other filters that Stan's going to talk about. And I look to see if they have the green circle or the green circle with the white dot. If they have a green circle, they are currently on desktop. This is a fabulous time to message them because they're there. They're going to see it pop up. And not only are they active on LinkedIn, because we know that from that filter, but they're there right now. And so we've had huge success. Now you can't filter by the green button, which would
Oh,
be
that'd be
cool.
nice.
But you do see it when you grow that list. But I agree. I think that might be my absolute favorite of all the filters. Give me two more that you love.
Well, another one, just when you're trying to filter by company size, the free version
Mm-hmm.
of LinkedIn doesn't give you a whole lot of. So company headcount, you can do that. And that helps depending on whether you're looking at, small to medium sized businesses, if you're going after enterprise accounts. So that's just something else you can do with Sales Nav that unfortunately you can't do with the free version of LinkedIn.
Yeah, and what's really kind of cool, and you could do this by department too, is you
Yeah,
can see who's growing. You mentioned in the beginning,
perfect.
if you've saved these accounts and you can LinkedIn will tell you if they're hiring. At risk typically means that they're laying off or their
Mm,
employees are reducing. But if what you sell or what you do falls into that, it's a pretty cool thing. So when Stan and I were, and Bob, when the three of us were um, looking for, a good list for a new product launch that we have, we looked at people that have 10 or more salespeople, but that their marketing is shrinking, right? And that all of a sudden we have a list where there may be an opportunity there. So the that it's not just, hey, these are the perfect size, but the movement inside the company is really awesome too. Okay, give
yeah.
me one more. I love this.
And there's a new filter around buyer intent that I'm still trying to figure out exactly how SalesNav collects all this data, but it goes beyond just people who are following your company or who've engaged with your company page content. LinkedIn's algorithms, they're pulling in a lot of activity, and it includes, and there are things that you can't even see yourself, but that the software can find. Like if someone in a prospect account engages with one of your colleagues,
Yeah,
they'll
right.
pull that in and use that as an indicator of buyer intent. That one's relatively new, but it's powerful.
It is. And I'm looking while you're talking at this at what I'm seeing pop up. And I'm seeing some really cool stuff. It will show if they follow your company page, if they've engaged in any of the content there. I mean, this is pretty cool. It's also showing you, it looks like recent posts, but I don't know why that would be buyer intent, but it's there. But there's
Mhm.
such good data, really. And I'm hoping, and it might even be here already, that it's capturing content that they share or comments that they make
Make it.
or people that they follow. So we're not getting hot leads from this, but we are getting people that are interested in surrounding topics and teammates. So it is pretty cool. I haven't played in that a whole lot. There's a new category of interest, and I haven't played in that either. So we have our work cut out for us as these things are growing. I'm going to tell you a trifecta that I love, and it depends on what you do. But we work with lots of financial professionals that are often rolling over 401ks. So they really want the people that have recently left. So in a search, you can actually years at company. You could do that they haven't years in current position. So if they've and you can I'm looking, it's all move change jobs, right? So under recent updates or spotlights, change jobs in the last 90 days. And then you can have years in company. So you'll pull out people that have been there a long time, right? Like that position change versus new job. And then you could do shared experiences. So now we have changed jobs, new in this position, in this company, and shared experiences. So shared experiences could be groups that you share. It could be shared connections, lots of things that can happen inside of that shared experiences that really can be quite powerful in the search. So love it. What's next? I know I'm ranting and ranting and ranting.
Yes, and a couple things. Save searches next now. Being new to this, I have to ask. I know that we're talking through things. We've got a couple folks asking if we can share the screen. Let me
So,
know how that works.
yeah, so we don't, because this is for a podcast. So we're live and that's so exciting. But Tom, reach out to us, Stan or myself, and we're happy to take you through some of this. Maybe we'll do a pop-up webinar and invite you guys in for this. But this is our
Perfect.
podcast. This is our debut podcast that we're doing live. So sharing screens will confuse our listeners.
Yes.
But reach out to us. We will make sure you are served. The other thing is join our community. If you go to socialsaleslink.com/library, let me see if I have it here. So it's socialsaleslink.com/library. You can sign up for, yep, is this it? I think that I found it. Enjoying these tips? Join or linkedinlibrary.com. There is a community where you can ask your questions and we'll get back to you and answer those too. And there's lots of great content. So go ahead and join that for free. And that's a good way to stay engaged with us. But we still have more. Let's keep going.
Good. Save searches. One of the wonderful things about Sales Nav is you have these filters that can narrow your search results down because, as you've probably already seen, the challenge with Sales Navigator with over 900 million members is not getting enough search results.
Mm.
The challenge is when you have 5,000 search results, how do you narrow it down to a list that you can actually work with? And once you do have filters that give you back ideal search results, well, you're going to want to use those same filters again. And Sales Navigator allows you to save up to 50 lead searches, all the filters, and up to 50 account searches as well. And you can also, if you like, be notified when new results come in based on the filters that you've set up. You can be notified via email if you like. Okay. Or, of course, you can just hop into Sales Nav anytime and look at it.
I love the email, and you can set it. I think I haven't done this in a long time, but I think you could set it up by once a week.
Yeah, I
Or
think it's just weekly now.
oh,
I think they've narrowed down. Yeah, it used to be more choices, but I think
okay.
yeah,
Well,
they've eliminated
fortunately, the one choice is the one I like.
which is weekly. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, hold on, because you're on mute
Sorry,
and
I
you're
had
back.
a little dog bark in the background.
So we're all working from home, so we're
Pod,
babies, dogs,
podcasting.
you name it.
Yep, yep. So save searches are great, and they are dynamic. So as you mentioned, if you do a search and you drill it down with all these great filters, and you've got your 1,000 first degree connections, and then tomorrow you connect with another person that meets that criteria, it'll get added to that list. This is great for second degree, right? If we're leveraging our second degree and so we do that perfect list, that means if one of our connections connects with the ideal person, we're alerted in that safe search. So those are the two that I love. Those are dynamic. We're going to talk about lists next. Those are static. Talk about the value of saving leads to a list.
List. Yeah, so there it just helps you keep things organized within Sales Navigator. And Bryn, you can let me know about this, but one of the things we talk to people about is your existing accounts, your decision makers within your existing accounts. Go ahead and add those to Sales Navigator, in part just as a signal to the algorithm. This is the type of people that we and company that we want to connect with in the future, and it helps you stay organized within Sales Navigator. So the other thing is when you're doing searches, you can exclude or include, you can use your existing list as a filter when you're doing searches as well.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool, and there's a couple ways I use them, and then tell me a couple ways you use them. But my favorite way of say one of my favorite ways, I have a lot of top 10 things, so I have a lot of favorites. But let's say so I'm networking with Jack Hubbard, who's on. Hi Jack. And I before I meet with him, I want to identify the 15 or 20 people that he knows that I might want to meet. So I can search with all our great filters, and we just name some of them. And then I can search connections of. So I can put in one person, and now I see he knows, 23 people that meet that criteria. I'll go through the 23 and save maybe 7, 8, 9, the really great ones,
Nice.
and I'll save them under his name. So when I go to my lead lists, I pull up my Jack Hubbard and all of them are saved, and I can run through them pretty quickly. That is one of my favorite ways to use lead lists.
That is so cool. I'm taking notes here. I'm glad this is being recorded. This, yep, this is good. So, and
Yeah.
yes, and for me, it's just more mundane. When I do a search and I start to get good search results, I'm starting to save these people to lists. So what Bryn is talking about all along is the next level. There are a lot of things that everyone does, but to set yourself apart in terms of more visibility, some of the things she talked about earlier, and drilling down and using your network effectively. That's what she's talking about here.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I think I mean, it's a game changer. And you do this with your clients, your networking partners,
Exactly.
you name it. And if you're in a bigger organization, let's say you have you have Sales Navigator for your whole team. There's team links available, and you could see who people in your organization know that you want to meet as well. So, I mean, we'll dive deeper down in these in an upcoming webinar. We already have people asking for it, so I think that's our next step.
Yes, yes. Then we
But
can
we
share the
did
screen.
promise 7, and we've only done 5.
5. We've got 2 more. Relationship Explorer is one. So dive into an account. So go into an account that you're looking at, and as you scroll down the page, or now they've set up these tabs where you can just click into people and insights and so forth, and it basically scrolls down the page for you faster. But
It
Relationship Explorer, yeah, that's all it's doing. Relationship Explorer just helps you map decision makers within an account. Again, they're trying to make our lives easier in terms of finding the people that we want to connect with.
So I really love this. And if you're in an account and you go into search and you find all the people that you want that might be involved in the sale, pre-sale, during the sale, even users after the sale, we want to socially surround an account. So we can go through and save them. And once we've saved them, you can move them into 3 tiers. So, and they're like little cards that you can move over. I don't know how else to explain it really.
Yeah.
But what's great is you can build that out, and there's different ways that you can do this. I have one client that we build it out with their first degree connections in the company is the first tier. Their second degree connections in the company is the second tier. And then third tier is typically post sale people, not pre sale or during the sale. So they're post sale people, right? So they're not top tier people, but we want to touch on them. And once we've got maybe a deal signed, we're immediately sharing value with them, right? And getting them bought in early on. So there are 3 tiers. The other thing that, probably what I do more often than not, although I do like what my client's doing that we're working with, is I have the people with the wallet on tier 1, so the actual buyers, maybe the C-suite in tier 1, tier 2 is more of the influencers, and tier 3 are the other stakeholders that might be involved. So there's lots of different ways to leverage the buyer mapping, but that Relationship Explorer can be your very good friend.
Yep. It's a great starting point. And then we have smart links as number 7. Oh, and yes, and Bryn loves this tool. This is a super tool because all of us have had the challenge of we want to send information to someone, but the file's too big for email. And we've got this great content, but how do you get it to them? And Smart Links does that for us, among other things.
Yeah, well, so and it's like a hub of content. So if you want to send 3 things that are too big, right? And it's awesome. But what and it is fabulous, and it has a great user experience. But what I really love, and I should have set up a smart link to put in today's program. I'll learn from that next time. Maybe I'll see if I could find an already created one that would be worth it. But like if I do a summit, I'll upload the resources. And then when you share those resources with folks, you get to see who's clicking, who's downloading, how long are they there. And it's pretty darn powerful. So I'm actually going, just so you guys can see, I am going to share it's a smart link. Oh, I can't share. You'll have to connect with Stan or me, or send us a quick message, and we'll get you a smart link. I don't feel very smart for not having been prepared for this, but it really is, in my mind, one of the most amazing tools, because if you want to talk about buyer intent or buyer triggers, this is a great way to know. I send almost all of my proposals this way now. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I sent a proposal out to a company maybe last September, October. And they were very excited. And then they had some kind of small merger and it got off their radar. And I reached out to them and they had ghosted a little bit. But in the last 2 weeks, and I'm on it, but I see that they're clicking through it again and they're sharing it. So it's back on the radar. and new people in the organization are clicking through. So that's amazing intel that we never would have had any other way. So absolutely love it. Well, we have been through a lot. This was so much fun. The good news, we get to do this again next week.
Exactly. And some of you are asking for a webinar, so we'll,
Well,
connect with us. Let us know. We will do it.
we will. We're really good at following what you guys want and need, which is very, very exciting. So, you know, we're going to be here every single week sharing these Sales Navigator insights. Put us on your calendar. We'd love to have you. And don't forget to join the linkedinlibrary.com or socialsaleslink.com/library. You'll be alerted at more things. And you can also find, although not necessarily this event, but when we have a webinar, it will be on socialsaleslink.com/events. So let me see if I have that. But guys, we're so excited. Stan, this has just been a blast with you. And we have a good long journey ahead of us partnering together. So
same here. Yes. Thank you, Bryn. Thank you for the insights, everyone. Thanks for joining.
And we'll see you next week.